This happened to me about 2 years ago when I moved to Portland, Oregon. I'm not really good at telling stories, but I need to get this out there. Maybe someone else has dealt with something like this. I had just bought my first house on Elm Street. Small place, nothing fancy. The realtor kept talking about how quiet the neighborhood was. She wasn't lying about that part. My neighbor to the right was this old guy named Mr. Hutchins. Must have been in his 70s. At first, I thought he was just, one of those retired guys who takes care of his yard. His lawn was perfect. Like scary perfect. Every blade of grass the same height. The first week, I'd see him out there at 6 in the morning. Still dark outside. He had this little flashlight attached to his hat, moving back and forth across his yard. I thought maybe he was picking up dog poop or something. My dog Rex would bark at him through the window. Then I started noticing the schedule. Monday through Sunday, same routine, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., with a lunch break at exactly noon. He'd measure things with this yellow tape measure, count his steps, write stuff down in a little notebook. The notes started appearing on Tuesday of my second week. Folded paper tucked under my door knocker. Your grass is 2.3 inches in the northeast corner. Neighborhood standard is 2.0 inches. Please address this matter. I laughed it off. Rex had knocked over my coffee that morning, and I was running late for work. Forgot all about it. More notes kept coming. Your sprinkler system activates at inconsistent intervals. Dandelion spotted near your mailbox. Your garbage bin was placed 14 inches from the curb. Standard placement is 12 inches. I started paying attention to what he was doing at night. Around 11 p.m., I'd hear footsteps in my backyard. Soft, careful steps. I'd peek through the blinds, but never saw him directly. Just shadows moving around. One morning, I noticed brown patches on my lawn. Weird circular spots where the grass had died overnight. My next-door neighbor, Mrs. Chen, had the same thing. So did the family across the street. That's when I decided to set up my old security camera. Nothing expensive, just something I bought for my apartment back in college. The footage made my skin crawl. 3 a.m., Mr. Hutchins in my backyard with a backpack sprayer, moving methodically across the grass, spraying something. He had surveying equipment too. One of those tripod things with the little telescope, measuring distances, digging small holes along the property line with a tiny shovel. I watched him do this for 3 nights straight. Same routine. Different yards each night. The water started tasting funny around week 4. Metallic. Made my stomach hurt. Rex wouldn't drink from his bowl. I had to give him bottled water. I found the files by accident. Mr. Hutchins had left his basement window cracked open during a hot day. I was trimming hedges and heard papers rustling in the breeze. Couldn't help but look. Stacks of folders on a card table. Photos of every house on the street. Daily schedules written in neat handwriting. Sarah Chen leaves for work 7:15 a.m., returns 5:45 p.m. Family at 4:02 orders pizza every Friday. New resident walks dog at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. There was a folder with my name on it. Inside were photos of me taken through my kitchen window, my work schedule, what I ate for breakfast, when I showered. The worst part was a manila folder labeled Previous Locations. 3 addresses in different states. Newspaper clippings about missing families. Water contamination investigations. All the same pattern. I confronted him the next evening. Found him in his yard, measuring something near my fence. Mr. Hutchins, we need to talk. He looked up calmly, smiled even. About what, neighbor? The chemicals, the files. What the hell are you doing? His smile got wider. I'm preparing the area for new tenants. Current residents don't deserve to live in paradise. He gestured to his perfect lawn. Some people just don't appreciate quality. You're poisoning people. I'm improving the neighborhood, one property at a time. He picked up his notebook. Your lease on life expires soon anyway. I called the police that night, filed a report. They said they'd look into it. Mr. Hutchins disappeared 3 days later. House went up for sale immediately. I moved out a month after that. Couldn't drink the water, couldn't sleep. Every night I'd hear footsteps that weren't there. The weird thing is, his lawn is still perfect, even with nobody living there. Still the exact same height, same bright green color. Sometimes I drive by just to check. The grass never grows. My name's not important. Just call me someone who's still freaking out. Me, my wife Lainey, and our kid Toby moved to Boise, Idaho last summer. Nice little house on a quiet street, you know? Felt like a fresh start after my job transfer. The place had this cozy vibe. Old wooden floors that squeaked when Toby's hamster, Pickles, scurried around at night. Anyway, our neighbor, Ms. Evelyn, she seemed sweet at first. Old lady, maybe 70, always smiling, offering us tomatoes and zucchini from her garden. That garden, man. It was huge, always blooming, even in weird seasons. Like who grows eggplants in October? Evelyn was nice though. Too nice maybe. She'd knock on our door, hands dirty from gardening, and give us these veggies wrapped in newspaper. Fresh from my soil, she'd say. Her voice all shaky but warm. Lainey loved it. She'd cook these big dinners, stews, salads, whatever. But a few weeks in, we started feeling off. Toby got these weird rashes on his arms, red and itchy. Lainey was tired all the time, like she could barely get out of bed. Me? I kept puking after meals, but I thought it was just stress. Doctors ran tests, found nothing. Maybe allergies, they said. Yeah, right. One night, I'm up late because I spilled coffee on my work papers and had to reprint them. It's like 2 a.m., and I glance out the window. Evelyn's in her yard, under this tarp-covered greenhouse thing, digging. She's got these big black bags, heavy ones, and she's dragging them into holes. I froze. Like, what the hell's she burying at 2 a.m.? I told Lainey the next morning, but she laughed it off. She's old, probably just gardening weird, but I couldn't shake it. That garden soil, it was so dark, almost black, and it had this smell, not like dirt, like something rotten when the wind blew on hot days. I started watching Evelyn closer. She'd wave at me, but her eyes, they'd linger too long, you know? Like she was studying me. One day, I'm mowing the lawn, and she calls me over. "You look pale, dear," she says, handing me a cucumber. "Eat my veggies. They'll fix you right up." I took it, but I didn't eat it. I couldn't. Something felt wrong. That night, I'm scrolling on my phone, and I decide to Google her. Big mistake. I found old addresses in Spokane, Missoula, even Reno. Every place she lived, pets went missing. Dogs, cats, even a freaking parrot once. And tenants? People who rented rooms from her. Some died. Natural causes, the report said. Heart attacks, strokes. Young people too. Nobody connected the dots. I'm freaking out now, right? I tell Lainey we gotta stop eating her food. She thinks I'm nuts, but agrees to humor me. We throw out the veggies, but Toby's still got those rashes. I start wondering about that garden, that soil. I did something stupid. Late one night, I snuck over with a trowel and took a sample from her yard. Felt like a damn thief, heart pounding, expecting her to pop out with a shovel or something. I sent the soil to a lab. Cost me $200, but I had to know. Results came back a week later. Human bone fragments, toxic chemicals, formaldehyde, arsenic, shit like that. I nearly dropped my phone. Then it hit me. Those vegetables. I remembered reading about embalming fluid, how it's got formaldehyde. I got our leftover zucchini tested, traces of it, preservatives too, like what morticians use. I'm shaking typing this, but Evelyn wasn't just gardening. She was disposing of bodies. Unlicensed mortician, maybe worse. Growing food in that poisoned soil and feeding it to us, to my kid. I called the cops, but they needed proof. They searched her place a few days later. Found bags under the tarps, medical waste, human remains. She'd been at it for years, moving town to town, nobody catching on. We moved out fast. Packed our stuff in 2 days, left half our furniture behind. Toby's rashes are gone now, but Laney's still weak sometimes. Me? I can't sleep. I keep seeing Evelyn smile, those dirt-covered hands. The cops arrested her, but she's out on bail. Nobody knows how many people, you know. Her garden's still there, all sealed off with tape now. I drove by once just to see. The soil still looks too dark, like it's hiding something. I don't eat vegetables anymore. Not worth the risk, I keep thinking. What if we didn't stop eating her food? What if I didn't check her past? I don't know what she was doing with those bodies, why she fed us that stuff. I don't want to know. Some things, they're better left buried, but I still smell that garden sometimes, in my dreams. And I swear, I hear her humming, like she's still out there, digging. This is about what happened when me and my daughter, Kaylin, moved to Lubbock, Texas, back in 2023. I'm a single dad, just trying to keep it together after a rough divorce. We rented this little house in a quiet neighborhood, nothing fancy, just a 2-bedroom with these old wooden floors that creaked like crazy whenever Kaylin's guinea pig, Sprinkles, zoomed around his cage at night. I was excited for a fresh start, you know? But things got weird fast. Our neighbor, this guy named Elton, lived next door. He was like in his 60s, always out front with this big fancy camera, taking pictures of everything. Houses, dogs, kids riding scooters. He told me it was for a Lubbock history project. I thought, okay, sounds like a nerdy hobby, whatever. But something about him, I don't know, his smile was too stiff, like he was hiding something. It started with little things. I'd catch Elton staring at our place when I'd get home from work, just standing there with that camera. He'd wave, but his eyes didn't look friendly. Kaylin, she's 16, started saying she felt creeped out in her room at night, like someone was watching her. I checked her windows, locked tight, but then I noticed these tiny holes in the wall where her room butted up against Elton's house. I thought, maybe it's just old house crap, pipes or something. But it didn't sit right. I kept forgetting to call the landlord about it too, because I was always so damn tired from work. Then Elton started knowing stuff he shouldn't, like he'd ask, "How's Kaylin doing with her new art class?" when I never told him she was taking one. Or he'd say, "Saw your sister drop by with that red car last week." How the hell did he know that? I started getting jumpy, double-checking the doors, closing all the blinds. One night, I left dishes piled in the sink because I was too stressed to wash them, and the kitchen smelled like old spaghetti sauce for days. Didn't help my mood. Kaylin came to me one day, freaked out. She was doing some school research online and found pictures of us. Clear, professional ones. Me carrying groceries, Kaylin practicing her skateboard tricks in the driveway, even us arguing about her curfew on the porch. They were on these sketchy websites, like real estate listings, but not for our house. No one asked us for permission. I marched over to Elton's, heart pounding, and asked him about it. He just shrugged, all calm, and said, "Must be a mistake. I take a lot of photos." His voice was too smooth, like he'd practiced that line. I started noticing stuff in his yard. These little garden statues. Frogs, gnomes, a fake cactus. Cute, right? Except one day, I saw a tiny red light blinking in a frog's eye. I got closer. It was a damn camera. Motion activated. I looked around. More of them. A birdhouse, a rock, all with those little lights. He was watching the whole neighborhood, not just us. I couldn't sleep after that. I'd lie awake, hearing the floorboards groan, wondering if he was listening too. Kaylin started sleeping on the couch, said her room felt wrong. I did something dumb. One evening, Elton left his laptop on his porch, screen on. I snooped. I know, stupid, but I was desperate. There was a folder called Lubbock Data. I clicked it. Thousands of pictures, organized by address. Ours had hundreds. Me, Kaylin, even sprinkles in the window. Worse, there were notes. My work schedule, Kaylin's school hours, even stuff like single dad, no alarm system, vulnerable. Other houses had notes about old folks, people living alone. He was selling this stuff to burglars, creeps, scammers. I saw emails with prices for info packages. I heard his door creak. I ran, heart slamming in my chest, barely making it to my yard before he stepped out. He didn't see me, but I was shaking so bad I could hardly stand. I called the cops, told them everything. They raided his place, found cameras, hard drives, lists of buyers. Elton got arrested, but here's the thing. They said he'd been doing this for years, moving from town to town, setting up his little spy network. Some of those buyers, they're still out there, probably with our pictures, our schedules. We moved out a month later, couldn't stay. Kaylin still checks her windows every night, even in our new place. I keep thinking about those holes in the wall, those cameras. How long was he watching us? What else did he sell? I don't know, and I'm scared to find out. Sometimes, when it's too quiet, I swear I hear a camera click. Probably just my nerves, right? But I'm not sure.